Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the 1 2 News Show. This is Katie Weaver. I'm here with my co anchor, Scott Weaver, and I'm so excited to bring our guest on. She is an angel intuitive, a health intuitive, a spiritual advisor. She's a contributor to Luminous Magazine. She is a wonderful person that I have really, really cherished getting to know here in the last few months, and I'm so excited that she's here. Please welcome Caroline to the show.
Well, thank you so much, Katie. That was a gorgeous introduction, and the feeling is mutual, I promise.
Oh, I just adore you. Well, I'm so happy that you came. You were supposed to be our guest last week, and we had just a slew of tech issues and had to put you off till this week. So I still apologize for that, but I'm glad you were able to come back. And here we are. So you've just been more than flexible. So I appreciate you a lot.
Well, things are a bit crazy in lockdown, so it's a bit easier to be flexible, I suppose. But no problem. Everything happens when it's supposed to.
Very true. Very true. So I wanted you to come on right now and talk about because you have something really cool going on. You have started offering a health, not a health group. Sorry, I'm going to let you introduce it since I'm clearly off. But you have a new group that you are leading that I wanted you to be able to come on and discuss. So take it away.
Thank you so much. Well, hello to everybody. And yeah, I was sitting there trying to speak with the angels and say, how can I best help? And I already do healing sessions on 1 2 Listen, but I thought what I would do is start doing group sessions. And so I'm doing one a week, and the intro price is only $15 because I do appreciate that lots of people are a little bit worried about finances at the moment. So we started on Friday. It's very exciting. So instead of having like one person to tune into, I just tune into the group energy. And the fantastic thing about the way that I work is even if you're going to purchase this in 2022, you'll still be included in that session. There's something about being able to concentrate on the group and anyone else who wants to come and purchase this later. So if I just run through the subjects quickly, Katie, you'll understand why I'm quite excited about this, because the work that I do depends not at all on what your symptoms are. People come to me with all sorts of descriptions about their chronic pain and their, physical illnesses, their allergies, all sorts of things. And 95% of the work that I generally do is emotional, so removing emotional blocks. So here are the subjects. I'm so excited about this. So May the 1st was fear of the unknown. May the 8th is fear of change. May the 15th is feeling overwhelmed. That's a huge one right now. Yeah. May the 22nd, feeling stuck. June the 5th, anxiety about your health. June 12th, lack of trust in self. That's a big one for me. So there we are. I shall enjoy doing that one. June the 19th, poverty consciousness. July the 3rd, fear of abandonment. And July the 10th, letting go. So how I've set it up is for the whole of the month of May, they're $15 a session. And that's going to go up on June the 1st. But what I'm offering is you can buy 4 at the reduced price, and then you can cash those in whenever you want to. So if some of those subjects don't appeal to you, there'll be another 10 being published probably around the beginning of July, and then you could just choose whichever one you want. So I'm
Wonderful.
Really excited about doing these.
Oh, yeah. I love it. I love it. And so how are you connecting?
So I just, as with all my work, which I do remotely on 1 2 Listen, because as you can probably tell, I'm in the UK, a little bit of an accent giveaway there. So whilst you guys are just coming into sort of lunchtime, I'm pretty much going to bed. So it makes it a little bit challenging to do live sessions. So what I do is remote sessions. So what I do is I just tune into the energy. So say I was doing a session on you now, Katie, I would listen to what you were telling me about your health, and then I'd park that to one side, say thank you very much, and then I basically tune into your energy and ask it what it needs to do in order to, get back to health and harmony and balance. So when I'm doing that on a group, so I can do that on a business, on a group of people, on your family, if you're having real family issues. So it's just about literally saying I'm tuning into whatever it is. So for this, it's my favorite way of doing sessions, because obviously, say 10 people come to me with the same thing, I'm going to have 10 different stories. So there's lots of different angles to approach it from, and it just makes it super interesting.
Oh, I love that. Love that. So do people receive a recording? How does the connection work?
Yeah, so you would go on to One to Listen, you would purchase whichever ones you were interested in, and then at the given time, I would sit down and I record it, I send it as an MP3, I stick it into Dropbox, and then I will send the link to whoever's purchased the group session. And then I always say to people, if this is the first time you've worked with me, I try to explain it a little bit in the beginning, but it can make you a little bit tired, it can make you a little bit weepy, it can make you a little bit angry. It depends what we've processed and what your body mind complex and how it chooses to process the energy. But the upshot of it is usually that people say, "Oh, I feel lighter," or I'm much better able to deal with that situation that was really troubling me, or perhaps my left leg doesn't hurt as much as it did before I listened to the session. So the great thing about these sessions is you can listen to them multiple times. It doesn't have to be just the once.
Awesome. I love that. Perfect. And yeah, I love that they get it sent out so you can yeah, take it as often as you want to. Very good. Well, I'm so excited that you're doing that. I know this is, a step towards you just, creating more and more in the 1-2 world. A little birdie also told me that we have a brand new radio show starting here at some point soon. Care to chime in on that?
Absolutely. So, um, one of the advisors, Kat, came up with the name because I was struggling a little bit with what to call it, but we have come up with Clearing the Path to Your Health with Caroline. So these shows are going to be taking a subject each week, maybe having some phone-ins, some people calling in, and just discussing around the subject instead of, as you in England anyway, you go to the doctor, you tell him your symptoms, and he gives you a prescription. You need to go to therapy, or you need physiotherapy, or you need an operation, whatever it is. We are going to be much more talking around the subject. So why do people get stress headaches? Why do people get cramp in the night? What is it about anxiety that really affects the health and things like that? I have been studying this forever, and I intuit a lot of what I say. So they're going to be interesting. But what I'm going to do, because there's some really wonderful people who work on 1-2 Listen who are also medical intuitives or people that help with health. So I think some of the shows are going to be guest speakers coming in. I also know quite a few outside of 1-2 Listen that might be worth bringing on to share with the audience.
Sure.
We haven't quite worked out when it's going to be, but it would be really fun for me if it was after this show, because this is a really, really interesting show. I love the topics that you take on. So it's not quite finalized yet, but I'm really, really looking forward to that. And of course, if the audience have specific, questions or comments, then we can, have a few shows where it's like, okay, what do you guys want to talk about? And I think those will be fun too.
Absolutely. Well, I'm thrilled. You belong in Radio Land, and I'm so happy that you are making the leap. This is perfect. So, yeah, I'm sure we'll have all of those details hammered out really soon. So, you guys definitely have something to look forward to here. That it's coming. I do hope you end up in the time slot after this show. It's a really good spot. Yeah. Plus, whoever's right after the show, then I always get to, I always nag them about what's your topic so I can talk them up. And it's a good collaboration. I love it. So
Fantastic.
Very good. Now, surely you've got plenty of gardening going on too right now, right? Because you have your wild nettle gardens.
I have. So it's crazy. Here in the UK, you're allowed to go to your allotment. And luckily for me, I always try and twist it around so it's a positive. So I couldn't find the land, which is what I was looking for. So Wild Nettle Gardens is going to be about an acre of land where we grow vegetables, fruit, flowers, herbs, medicinal herbs. And then we have what's called a care farm. I don't know if you call it the same in the US, but basically this is where people with PTSD, anxiety, depression, trauma, that sort of thing can come and do what we call horticultural therapy. So they basically help out in the garden, but half of the garden is going to be like a food forest. So there's going to be lots of cutesy little places to go and sit with a Buddha and, nice flowers around it, or, birds singing or whatever it is. So a lot of what we're going to be offering is people just to perhaps go and sit quietly over there if they're overwhelmed or whatever. But Yeah, so I was looking for that. I didn't get it, so I put all my plants onto an allotment. And you are allowed at the moment, one of the only things you're allowed to do is go to your allotment. So I am tending to my plants and I'm sorting them and organizing them, because I do realize that I've probably missed this season because everything's going bananas in the garden. It's growing because we've had lots of rain and lots of sun, so it's just perfect. So I'm sort of looking for next year now, which I'm a little bit disappointed about, but actually it's allowed me lots of time to get set up in 1-2 Listen, so that's fantastic. So yeah, still looking for the land and really enjoying the process of growing. I just think it's such a wonderful process to be able to watch. So do take a look at Wild Nettle Gardens on Facebook, and we've also got a website called, surprisingly, Wild Nettle Gardens. We're also on Patreon. If you feel like you would like to contribute in any way, then Patreon is a good place to go, and we're called Wild Nettle Gardens on there. And yeah, just really looking forward to getting that established, and can't wait to get going, Katie. Can't wait.
Oh, yeah, it's so exciting. And what a wonderful plan. I was thinking about what do we call that in the US? And I think Xanax, maybe. Like we don't have a lot of those offerings, but I think that we need more of them. That's so therapeutic. I keep hearing about like these enormous skyscrapers and office buildings that are building, gardens on their roofs for
Yes.
their staff to take place or to take part in, and to have that space, to spend time in during the day, and how therapeutic that is. And well, duh, of course it is. That's so awesome. Well, I love you're doing this. I love it.
Thank you. And I just, I feel like we've so lost our connection with nature. Every now and again, you meet someone who's really relaxed and calm and peaceful, and then you find that what they do is they spend their entire day out in the garden playing with plants and talking to plants or whatever they do. And I think, when you live in a concrete block and you go to work in a metal box and you then get into it's just crazy. We're not built to be inside, we're built to be outside. And there's something very special about when I did a stall when I was in Wales, and like people would walk past, and every now and again someone would just really smile at me, and I'm like, they're a gardener. You could just tell. They're just they are a different animal, it has to be said, but so generous with me because I don't know what I'm doing. But never mind. I'll learn.
You're learning. Yes, but you have the right energy to work with plants. Years ago, when I still had my healing center, we had a ton of plants in there, partly because a bunch got donated to us by someone who was moving to China and just went, I have all these plants that'd be great in your space. Do you want them? And I was like, sure, why not? We had a huge row of windows. And then I picked up a couple of lemon trees that grew indoor, and they produced in there really well. And I had them right inside a glass door, so people that would walk down the street, they'd see these lemon trees growing inside. And I have never considered myself to be a good gardener. I'm not as good as Scott, but before, years ago, I really thought I killed every plant I had. But when I put them in our center, they went crazy. And I constantly had people that would come in and say, I just wanted to look at your plants. and ask like, well, what is your secret? These are amazing. How do you? And I would just have to laugh because I don't have one.
No, but I'm so funny. I said to my plants, if you want to grow, you can be in my family. I call them my family. So if you want to grow, that's great. If you don't want to grow, it's compost and you'll be feeding the garden next year. And even when I was moving up here, I was like, guys, we're going to be moving. It's going to be colder up there. We're going to be moving. If you don't want to come, that's fine. I totally respect that. And most of them wanted to come. A few died, and that's great.
That's it. You don't have to necessarily, quote unquote, know what you're doing. You have the energy for it. You have the connection to the plants, and that I think is more than half the battle. So that's awesome. I'm so happy you're doing this.
And no one is more surprised than me. No one. I'm such a townie, but I just loved it. We had the worst winter, the worst summer, the worst this, everything was worst. And it was hard work. And I was basically shoveling horse poo most of the year. You know, it's you come home and you stink and you're exhausted, but it's such a great exhaustion. And at the end of the year, I was like, wow, I'm still here. Who thought? Who would have thought? Crazy. But yeah, I think it sort of like it brings together I'm a healer through and through. That's what I think I was just put on this planet to do, that, which is such a blessing and a privilege. And I'm surprised that I didn't know that for the first probably 35 years of my life, but I didn't. Anyway, I found it now. And I think, healing through fantastic, healthy, nourishing food whilst being in a garden, and me, I think, I'll probably be doing meditations with them and all sorts of fun things to really just get deeply nourished souls, in the garden. And that is so exciting to me. And I really want to run courses like meditation courses, how to make jam, how to pick herbs, how to, whatever, just to get people in there and get people interested in the project, because I don't have a whole heap of cash, so it's going to be sort of like a labor of love to start with. But I really want to build a community. I think that's what my soul is longing for right now.
Yeah. Yep, I think so too. Well, it is lovely. And I love that, while you're building that community, you also have joined a community here and are building your connection. It feels very organic.
It does. And honestly, I've been so well looked after. I just love being part of the 1-2 family.
Well, we have just loved having you here. You're a great addition, and you just marched in and just like sat at the table like you've been here forever, and it was just perfect. I love it. So good. I wanted to bring up a question in the chat from Mary. This isn't necessarily a reading show, and we probably don't have time to do a reading on it, but I just wanted you to address Mary and her question so that she knows how to proceed with you. She said, I have recurring pain in my left shin following a double mastectomy and blood clot complications back in September. It is really bad right now, and I wondered if you could help me with this, since I think it's a past life karma that won't go away. I would love to know more about your sessions. What would you recommend for Mary?
So I would say probably not the group sessions for that. I would say an in-depth one. So if you go to the email-based sessions on Caroline Nettle, and what I do is just tune into what is going on, like I said, within the energy, and that straight away I felt past life with that, yes. And also we just try and help the body get back to what we would call zero, so get back to health and happiness. And usually we're clearing out old belief systems, old emotional problems, but that when I heard you read that out, Katie, it was definitely past life. So that's another thing that we can help take away the energy that's coming through. So we take the lesson, because usually there's some reason that is coming through and talking to us right now, but we take away the energetic charge so that the body can heal and everything. So absolutely can help. Go and have a look at it. The prices are actually reduced whilst we're in lockdown. We are in England. I don't know if you are. So instead of $150, they're currently $120. So hopefully that'll help those people that are struggling a little bit.
Yeah, tough times. Well, good. That sounds wonderful. So thank you. And I'll share a link to that reading for you, Mary, in the chat room as well. And thank you very much for the question. So Caroline, we're just about done, but I just wanted to, before we go, ask you if there's anything else you'd like to share and make sure that these guys know where to find you.
Oh, bless you. Thank you so much. Well, like I said, I would love some more action on my page, Wild Nettle Gardens. That would be perfect, because we're new and it really helps, etc. But for all the rest of the things I do currently, 1-2 Listen, Caroline N, and obviously you can call in and we do angel readings and things like that, like normal. But for anything to do with healing, then just take a look at my email-based services. So thanks ever so much for having me on, Katie. Really been fun.
Oh, you are so welcome. Thanks for coming, and thanks for being so flexible in this wild, weird world we're in. But you guys, please stay tuned. Still coming up today, we have A Course in Miracles with C.A. Brooks. And of course, she has Susan Dugan with her today. And then Kathleen Peterson and friends will end the day. And don't forget, tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Pacific on the Psychic on the Cat Show. it's not the Psychic Cat Show, it's now the Cat Show. I want to call it the Psychic Show. On the Cat Show,
Mhm.
she is, of course, going to be offering a memorial for our dear Greg Witham that has passed. And so we're so grateful for that. So be sure to join us for that as well, and all of the great offerings to come. You have been listening to 1-2 Radio here on the 1-2 News Show, where the coffee's always hot, the sun is always shining, and the news is always real.